Morning, warriors. How are you? Please join me in the pledge to the Bible. To the Bible, God's holy word. I will make it a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. I will hide its words in my heart that I might not sin against God. Join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, we need to start with birthdays for January, since this is the last day of January. All right. Kindergarten, Sophia Prothero and Adeline Michael and Cameron Duffy. Oh, there's Cameron. First grade, Penny Steeler. Second grade, Elliot Andrus. Third grade, Pierce Cobb, Sophia Segundo, Nora Manley. Fourth grade, Valerie Castellanos and Ronan Johnson and Clary George. We'll sing happy birthday and say God bless you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, God bless you. Happy birthday to you. All right. Smattering of applause. We have, can you give applause? Yeah. With the new week, we have a new virtue we're talking about. The virtue that we're talking about this week is the virtue of sacrifice. We're going to keep working through our catechism because in there we're talking about the sacrifice of Jesus for us. So we've been working through the problem with sin, that we all are corrupt and sinful by nature, that all of our being, mind, body, and soul have been corrupted by sin. We ourselves cannot save ourselves. We need help. So we have a Savior who has come to save us, and we're going to work through how he saves us. So we've learned already the question about Jesus, and the first question is, did Jesus ever sin? And the answer is no, he lived a sinless life. So let's start there. Did Jesus ever sin? No, he lived a sinless life. So then the big question is, how could Christ suffer? And so repeat after me. Christ, the Son of God, became a man so that he could obey and suffer in our place. So Christ, the Son of God, became a man so that he could obey and suffer in our place. The next question we're going to ask is, what kind of life did Christ live on earth? So this is a big question that the church has debated for many years. So we're going to, so we have Christ, Son of God, came to man, then how did he live on earth? The answer is a life of obedience, service, and suffering. So repeat after me. A life of obedience, service, and suffering. So when Christ came to earth, he didn't come to rule. He wasn't like a king that would lord over us. He lived a life of obedience, service. He served his fellow man, and suffering. And the thing that we kind of forget is we know that Jesus died on the cross and the horrible agony of that, but he suffered all of his life on earth. How in the world did Jesus suffer his entire life on earth, even when he was a baby and a young man? How did he suffer that entire time? Leighton? right? He dealt with sin, and in heaven he didn't have to deal with sin at all. He himself, when he took on the form of man, he was hungry, he was sad, he felt all those emotions, things that he would have not felt in heaven. He also was separated physically from his Father. So his entire life was a life of suffering. We kind of forget that when he came to earth, that he came and paid an incredible price the whole time he was here. So when we talk about sacrifice, Christ is the ultimate example of somebody who was willing to sacrifice for us. Again, we think about the sacrifice on the cross and the wonderful act that is, but his entire life was an act of sacrifice, of obedience, service, and sacrifice for us. We're singing our new hymn? No? Okay. So we're finishing up the last time with our hymn about Jesus is the light of the world. The question is, what kind of life did Christ live on earth? A life of obedience, service, and suffering. So let's try that. What kind of life did Christ live on earth? A life of obedience, service, and suffering. When we think about sacrifice, we look to the Lord and think of all the things he sacrificed for us. So it's not a small thing for us to sacrifice for one another. We're called to love our neighbor. It's a sacrifice. When we're called to do our work as unto the Lord, it's a sacrifice. That's no small thing compared to the sacrifice Christ sacrificed for us. Let's have a great Monday. The Lord be with you.